Katie can ask.
What's the Korean mentality on ghosts and the supernatural?
As you can see, we're wearing wigs, not just because we feel like it, but because it's almost Halloween, and this is perfect!
I've actually saved this question in our TLDR folder for over a year now, and it's finally time to talk about it.
We kept being like, we should answer this question, and then we were like, no, let's wait, let's wait. All right, let's start with the basics here. So Gwishin is the Korean word for ghost. And there are two kinds of ghosts. There's like the unmarried female virgin ghost, and then there's like the bachelor ghost. Noticing a kind of theme with the ghosts here. Gwishin is the female ghost, and those are the ones that you see in the movies like Ring, where they have like the long black hair and like the white outfits on. They like show up in your house and haunt you and crawl through TV screens and stuff like that. I don't know what's up with the whole unmarried thing, but supposedly if you have a female ghost in your house, you can actually like try to hook them up with a bachelor ghost.
Yeah, they've got like a match.com for ghosts, and you can like set up your own profile to say like how long you've been undead for and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know about that, but Cheongak is actually a Korean kimchi, but that's the name of the bachelor ghost as well. And so apparently you can set them up if you have a problem in your house. Other than that, I don't really think there are many other ghost stories that I can talk about. Although, there is that one story that I heard about when I was teaching at a high school. Supposedly, there were two girls competing to be the first and most smartest girl in class. But this one girl kept coming in second place. Constantly second place. Second place girl couldn't take it anymore. She saw first place girl standing in the window. She walked from behind. And she pushed her out the window, and she fell to her death. From that point onwards, second place girl became the best in school. But then one day, when she was studying late in school, she heard this noise. How will I make the noise?
What did the noise sound like?
It's like a... It sounds like a thumping sound. She heard this thumping sound coming down the hallway. It wasn't like somebody walking, it was like something hopping. She knew something was wrong, so she ran down the hallway and she went to the washroom and she crawled up on top of the toilet and tried to hide herself. But then suddenly, everything went quiet. And at the bottom of her stall, number one girl's face shot up at the bottom, upside down, and yelled, "I found you!" The girl screamed wildly and kicked open the stall to try to escape her. But it turns out the girl's head was on upside down, and the thumping was her jumping on her upside down, distorted head from having fallen out the window. Moral of the story is, don't push people out a window. No, seriously, pushing someone out the window because of grades?
I'm pretty sure that the moral of the story isn't to push people out the window. I'm pretty sure it's about like
not being
the
competitive?
fierce competition in school and to not get too wrapped up in that, or else you might be haunted by something afterwards.
Yeah, there are so many stories based on high schools and high school people haunting each other because they pushed each other out windows or killed each other because of grades. And you don't even want to go into toilets when you're in a high school in Korea because there's all these horrible ghost hauntings that happen in toilet stalls.
In fact, after researching these stories, I'm a little bit concerned now about going to the washroom because ours is on like the top and like the lights don't actually work all well. It's a little bit dark and creepy. And there's one ghost story about if you make a poo on the toilet, then the hand will come up, somebody's hand, I don't know whose exactly, but it'll grab you and pull you in. I'm not exactly sure what they could grab you by, unless you're a dude, they grab you by the balls and pull you in. But like, what are the physics behind it? Somebody's hand grabbing you.
No, seriously, there are like a million ghost stories about hands coming up in toilets.
It's supposed to be a lot freakier because of outhouses. Like you also have the squatting toilets as opposed to like the regular toilets, and it's a lot more creepy that way. And have you seen like the squatting toilets?
Okay, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
They themselves, you don't even need a story behind them.
It could be daylight.
That's the setting of a horror movie right there.
And that's apparently where like the evil hand will come up from the toilet.
Only the squatting toilets, not the modern toilets.
You're okay in the modern toilets.
You're okay there, you're fine.
Do not haunt those toilets. But how are they going to fit through a toilet hole?
You just
the
keep
physics of this.
You keep on pulling.
Now, besides stories about like angry, vengeful schoolgirls, or ones about like those unmarried virgin ghosts with the long hair,
and
the
also
bachelor
about terrible
ghosts.
poos as well.
That's right. I think there was that one story
about plastic surgery gone wrong. There's that one story about the lady in the red mask that will walk up to you on the streets and ask you, and if you say no, she will pull off her mask and you'll see like this giant mouth, kind of like the Joker, but a little bit scarier than that. And then she'll like whip your mouth open and make you look like her.
What happens if you say that she is pretty?
Then she'll say, okay, let me make you as pretty as I am, and then rip your face open to kind of look like her. So even if you say yes or no, you're kind of like dead.
Is there any defense for him against the scary woman?
Yes, in fact, there is.
Oh.
Supposedly, she's very scared of dogs. So if you write the Chinese symbol for dog on your hand and you Hadouken her with it, then she'll kind of run away scared.
That's very specific, isn't it?
Yes.
So you're like, wait a second. She's like, am I pretty? You're like,
oh, hold on.
She's scared of the word pomade.
Yes.
Because supposedly her crazy plastic surgeon wore a lot of like hair pomade.
So if you say pomade 3 times, then she's gonna run away. If you say it twice, then she might kind of like turn around and be unsure. If you say once, then she might be like, but you gotta say it 3 times. Pomade.
But if you're like, Dow, she's like, wait a second.
So the crazy lady with the red mask will ask you and then you'll die.
Yeah, and when we say red mask, we should say that it's the breathing, you know those ones that keep you when you're sick or if you're like
the little face mask, yeah.
So it's very like scary for Korea, I think, and Japan. Although I don't really see red masks, do you?
We're gonna talk about some more Korean ghost stories in our blog post, including Bunshin Sabo, which is a game that kids play to bring ghosts into the house. So make sure you click on the link here if you want to be freaked out a little bit more.
Sounds like a terrible game. My question for you is, what are some of the superstitions and ghost stories that you have in your part of the world? Do you have anything like the single, unmarried, vengeful ghost who will come at you? Let us know in the comment section below.
For last week's TLDR, we were talking about Korean gangs and gangsters, and we got a really interesting comment from Airy Crow, who wound up saying that a lot of the Korean gangs are not actually naming themselves, but they're named by the police crime unit that's responsible for them, which is why some of the gangs had some weird names that like we found a little bit off.
Wasn't it like strawberry?
Like strawberry flavored seaweed, which doesn't really seem that gangster, but hey, if I was a Korean police officer and I had to name a gang, I'd name them something like the farty bunnies or something along those lines. Or like the whining sissy snivelly cows instead of like something like Texas. Why are you naming Texas?
Conreen had a great comment on YouTube. They said Double Dragon, which was the name of one of the gangs we were talking about. Lol. Where I'm from, Double Dragon is when you vomit and have diarrhea at the same time.
Comes out, so it looks like a dragon.
I guess I call that doing the Egyptian. Because it looks like...
That's how you describe the movement.
You're like, how were you last night? And you're like, not good.
The Egyptian.
Not good.
Double dragon or Egyptian?
Double dragon sounds luxurious though.
What do you call vomiting and shitting at the same time in your country? Leave your answer in the comment section below.
Have a safe and happy Halloween if you celebrate, and if you live in Korea, come to You Are Here Cafe on Friday where we'll be giving out Halloween candy.
We're doing trick-or-treating, so make sure you come by.
No, super cereal. Come by with your family and we have a little pumpkin basket and we will give you your candy in your pillowcase.